2024 to order. Begin with the pledge, and I would ask our Director of Special Projects and our Diversity Officer, Bernard Griggs, to lead us in the pledge. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At the last meeting, I said that we would do this one-time introduction of the row offices over here, but since then we got an extra row office, or a new one, so I wanted to give everybody a chance to just say their name and the row offices they represent again.
Good morning, Jen Shorn, District Attorney.
Eileen Hartnett-Albiar, Clerk of Courts.
Chris Ballerini, Treasurer.
Hi, Patty Campy, the coroner.
Linda Bobrin, Register of Wills.
Thank you. So you may all notice that we have green ribbons on today, and that is because February is Gallbladder and Bile Duct Cancer Month, and we are lucky and blessed to have Mr. Tom Hiriak here to talk to us a little bit about that. But first, I would ask Commissioner Harvey to read a proclamation.
Thank you. It's my honor to do that. Whereas gallbladder cancer and bile duct cancer, also known as cholangiocarcinoma, are relatively rare forms of cancer. And whereas according to the American Association of Cancer Research, about 12,000 people living in the United States were diagnosed with gallbladder cancer in 2023, and only an estimated 8,000 Americans were diagnosed with bile duct cancer every year. And whereas patients are typically diagnosed at a late stage due to a lack of early detection methods, however, jaundice, abdominal pain, itchy skin, weight loss are symptoms that may present in advanced disease progression. And whereas foundations, research, and teaching hospitals, rare cancer advocacy groups, and patient advocacy groups from around the globe joined forces in February to bring awareness to bile duct and gallbladder cancers. And whereas founded in 2022 by a Bucks County family who lost a son and brother to cholangiocarcinoma, the Colin Hiriak Foundation continues to raise money to help families facing devastating illness. And whereas increased cholangiocarcinoma advocacy, awareness, research, and education will bring improved outcomes for patients in early detection, treatment, and potential curative methods. Now, therefore, do we, the Bucks County Board of Commissioners, hereby proclaim February 2024 as Gallbladder and Bile Duct Cancer Awareness Month throughout the County of Bucks. In doing so, we offer our condolences and support to the family and friends of Colin Hiriak, and we thank them for continuing to raise awareness for cholangiocarcinoma. We encourage residents of Bucks County and beyond to look to the Colin Hiriak Foundation to learn more and consider avenues of helping others.
Thank you. And Mr. Hiriak, thank you for being here, and if you'd like to say a few words.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Tom Hiriak. I'm from Silbury Township. First of all, I want to thank the commissioners for providing me this opportunity to talk about bile duct cancer this morning. I'd like to start my comments talking about our understanding or unfortunate history and background with bile duct cancer. And then I'd like to go and briefly describe some of the activities that our families undertake to help other individuals and families facing devastating medical illnesses like cholangiocarcinoma. To start with our family's history or background with this, we lost our 26-year-old son, Colin, to cholangiocarcinoma about 18 months ago. Like all cancers, there's nothing positive to say about bile duct cancer. The only bright spot may be that it is a relatively rare cancer. However, the statistics surrounding it are both scary and significant. The 5-year survival rate right now is reported at about 8 or 9%, with many patients only surviving for about 12 months after diagnosis. Colin fought the disease for about 16 months before he lost his battle. But maybe the most frightening statistic right now is that the rates of cholangiocarcinoma or bile duct cancer are increasing worldwide, especially among young people, with no real understanding or theory behind why that's happening. Shortly after we lost Colin to bile duct cancer, we started the Colin Hiriak Foundation. Colin's Foundation is a family organization dedicated to supporting families and individuals facing devastating medical illnesses. There's many reasons why we started the foundation. I'd like to briefly discuss 3 of those this morning. Number one, based upon our experience with Colin fighting this horrible disease, our current healthcare system is not really set up to support individuals and families facing the most devastating illnesses that are known. We believe that that needs to change, and we'd like to play a small part in making that happen. The second reason has to do more with the families. If you think about the trauma that those families go through just because of the diagnosis, then you place the additional burden placed on them for medical inquiry, medical treatment options, and everything because of the insufficiencies in the medical care system. You can understand why almost all, if not all of those families report an overwhelming feeling of loneliness, isolation, and desperation. One of the goals we had when we started Collins Foundation is that for all families that we work with, that they know that they're not in that fight by themselves. Because of these two factors, I really applaud the commissioners for bringing forth this resolution this morning. The more that we can talk about some of the insufficiencies in our medical care system, how it really cuts short families facing these most devastating illnesses, the greater the chance we have in making changes, again, to better support those families. So I applaud your efforts this morning, and again, thank you for bringing me here. Since the inception of Collins Foundation about 18 months ago, we've helped over 150 families with different products and services. I'd just like to highlight one of those this morning. We actually call it, it's a software platform, and we call it our Companion on Linking Individual Needs, or Colin for short. And what it basically is a family management system. It combines for the individual patient and it uses a data management system to help them manage care, but it also provides services for the entire family. Health and wellness, exercise, nutritional tips. They can also get access to support groups that we work with on a partner for, and it has a community-based alert system that friends of the family can use so that that family can be best supported. We've identified actually extreme prematurity of birth as a devastating illness as well, and we have one of these individual programs for those families as well. We have 4 new initiatives planned for 2024. We're very excited about this year, and we look forward to helping as many families as we possibly can. To close, I mentioned that there were a few reasons that we started the foundation that I'd like to address this morning. I have one left, but it's a much more personal reason. We started the Colin Hiriak Foundation because of its namesake. Colin, if you could go to the next slide, please. Colin, you can read about Colin's story on the website or the foundation website, but real quickly, Colin was born 16 weeks premature, weighed a little over a pound when he was born, and was given really no opportunity to live. But he was an amazing fighter, and he fought to the end. He left this earth with tremendous dignity, loving his family, friends, and community. The main reason we started Collins Foundation is because we believe he would have wanted us to. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Have a wonderful day.
Mr. Hiriak, thank you so much for your courage to come here. He definitely is a strong young man, and it's very visible in you. Thank you for taking your loss and your pain and turning it into this. Thank you. We will send this proclamation to you in just a minute. Thank you. We also today have our pins on for our African American Museum. It is Black History Month, and we have Bernard Griggs, who is here to tell us an update on the African American Museum, and we have some leaders from the museum here as well.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good morning, Commissioners, staff, and the public. Thank you for the opportunity to give you an update today on the African American Museum project. Commissioners, it was your visionary leadership that made this project possible, and I'm grateful for your support. Additionally, in the spirit of Black History Month, I'll provide a brief overview of the project's significance and also some background for those who may be new to the museum. The African American Museum of Bucks County was established in 2014 to honor the legacy of the African American experience, heritage, and journey in the county of Bucks and beyond. The Boone Farm was first established in the township of Middletown in the year of 1716 and is located at 867 Newtown Langhorne Road in Langhorne and features the Godfrey Kirk House and a stone barn foundation listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Boone Farm was a local landmark of the Great Migration, affording many African Americans fleeing the South in search of a better opportunity for their families the opportunity to work on a farm and earn fair wages making a living. The County of Bucks acquired the Boone Farm in August of 2000 in an effort to preserve its history and significance. On September 2nd of 2020, the County of Bucks, under this current Board of Commissioners, authorized a lease agreement of the Boone Farm to the African American Museum of Bucks County for the purpose of establishing a museum to spread the awareness of the history of African Americans in Bucks County. In November of 2022, we held a ceremonial groundbreaking event for the project and then officially broke ground on the project and began work in February of 2023. Now, the slideshow that you're watching today pretty much outlines the work that has been done since the official groundbreaking and the beginning of the project, and sort of brings you up to date to where we are just as recently as a couple weeks ago. And, you know, although when you look at the pictures, it may not appear as though a lot has been done, I feel inclined to just break down in detail some of the things that has been completed to date. But, you know, you're looking at a new parking area, a new bus parking area, a new stormwater basin, new water lines from the main to the building, new underground electrical service to the building. There's a major clean out of the basement, old concrete slab and other debris, ground floor demolition, underpinning bracing of the foundation, demolition to the existing staircases throughout the building, construction of temporary staircases throughout, foundation dam proofing, parging of the basement walls, salvaging the stone from the exterior of the building where we had to cut the structure open to make way for the new elevator for the building. We salvaged the old doors and trim. We had to lower the basement floor by 3 feet, which was why we had to do all the underpinning and all that kind of work. Poured new concrete piers in the basement, new support columns installed on the new concrete piers, braced the porch roof areas in order to pour a new 3-level porch with steps around the building. The underpinning forming and new underpinning concrete ledge in the elevator room. Underpinning is a process in which, you know, when you undermine a foundation and the foundation of a building is insecure below grade, you have to stabilize it. And so you stabilize it by underpinning it and building a concrete ledge to support it so it stays in place. The foundation for the elevator addition and concrete opening, interior framing, bathroom framing, and elevator addition and roof tie-in. In one area you see there's a bathroom addition where you may have seen me talking to the crew, was an area where the ceiling transformation just didn't make sense because of the height. So we had to essentially tear it down and rebuild it, which gave us essentially two additions on the back part of the building. So that pretty much sums up the work that has been done that you're looking at. A brief summary of the upcoming construction schedule that will likely take us right to the completion of the core and shell construction of the building will be the continuation of framing throughout the building. All of the floors will be rebuilt with new rough-sawn joists and plywood. New exterior 2x4 walls will be constructed around the perimeter of all the walls inside. Plumbing and drain lines and water lines are currently being installed literally as I'm speaking here, the plumber's on site. Concrete basement floors, upper porch, front walkway should be completed by early February. Then the interior of the electrical service will be installed by early March, we anticipate. We should have the bulk of the framing construction wrapped up by like mid-March, at which point the rest of the MEP work, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, will be in full swing. The new windows, the exterior finishes will be able to be underway while the MEP work is still going on inside throughout like April and May. The bluestone porch and walkways along with the finished grade will start once the weather breaks around April, May, June. So the core and shell of the construction should be completed by mid-July, at which point the interior build-out will begin and is scheduled to run about 6 months from the completion of the core and shell. So if we're able to keep our schedule on track, by this time next year, the project should be done 100%. So, really exciting project to be working on a 17th century masonry structurally building that just is probably one of the coolest projects that I worked on in my 35 years of construction, but it's really going to be a showpiece when it's finished. So that pretty much wraps up the update on the project. At this time, I'm going to call Bill Reed. Bill Reed is the Vice President and Board Member of the AAMBC. Bill's going to tell you a little bit more about the museum and their story, and even tell you a little bit about the displays that we have up for Black History Month in the Justice Center and in the admin building lobby. I'm sorry. Bill?
Good morning.
Thank you, Greg. Good morning. I am Bill Reed, Vice President and Board Member of the African American Museum. Our President Linda Sally is a little under the weather this morning, and she asked if I would say a few words to you regarding the past, present, and future of the African American Museum of Bucks County. Before I get started, it is important that I say thanks to everyone involved for allowing our organization to speak to you on the occasion of Black History Month. Thank you also for inviting us to come to display our material at your entrance in the corridors of the Bucks County Courthouse. This information regarding the contribution of African Americans in general and contribution of African Americans that were born, lived, contributed, raised, and have passed through Bucks County. I hope that each of you will spend some time reviewing the displays and information that have been posted within the courthouse buildings. I want to thank you, Greg, for assisting us in establishing places and locations for this material. We want you to know that your assistance has been very generous and it has not gone unnoticed. The African American Museum was incorporated in 2014, so this year represents our 10th year in existence. The African American Museum is dedicated to honoring the legacy of the African American experience, inspiring pride in our heritage, educating the public about African American diverse and challenging journey, and sharing stories that depict our American history during our 10-year history. During this 10-year history, we have been a traveling museum, displaying numerous artifacts, sharing history and accomplishments of African Americans, both in general and specifying the history and contributions of African Americans in Bucks County. We have shared nuggets of stories that no longer is taught in our schools or is disseminated through our various news medias. Since the Traveling Museum has been in existence, we have shared our history with over 6,000 students, shared information with countless school teachers, displayed artifacts throughout Bucks County Free Library System, churches, tours, elementary, middle, high school, and institutions of higher learning. We have also participated in annual community events, theme parks, and the list goes on and on. We have spent 10 years packing and unpacking, setting up and taking down, loading and unloading vehicles to attend the various events from Lower Bucks, Central Bucks, and Upper Bucks. We want to share with you that it has been laborious, but it has been a labor of love. Because most of our charter members are seasoned adults, we have sometimes become weary of the time it takes to prepare for an event. We have brainstormed often as to how to better use the technology of today, and yes, we have prayed for a more effective way to get the message out to all individuals that African American history is American history. Today, we genuinely believe that there is an answer. We believe through hard work and perseverance, the support of many named and unnamed supporters. Our prayers have been answered, and a solution to the many presentations and travel have been challenged or at hand. The solution to our problem we found several years ago. When you leave the borough of Langhorne and travel north on 413, there was a little house that sat atop a little hill by the side of the road that was once known as Boone Farm. It's an old house. It has been empty for decades, but it has a long and rich history in Bucks County. A book has been written by a local resident and community activist, Pat Mervine, detailing this house history. The book is a local bestseller and it is recommended reading for all residents. Realizing that Boone Farm has been idle for decades, the African American Museum of Bucks County started doing research, letter writing, phone calls, canvassing all community leaders, local officials, regarding the availability of the site becoming the new home of the African American Museum. Our question to ourselves was, what if we could gain this house for a home for the African American Museum? After what seemed to have been an eternity of waiting for an answer, permission was granted by way of a 30-year lease, thanks to the effort and support of our hardworking and dedicated commissioners who are here today. Although a lease has been obtained, another journey and challenge begins. In order to occupy the building, a tremendous amount of work is required. In order to raise the fund, the African American Museum has kicked off a capital campaign in the fall of 2023 to raise $2 million in 2024 to complete the work. Some have said that this was impossible, to raise the fund to occupy the building. Although our knowledge of understanding, we believe through our forefathers, the struggle, the difficulties that they have had being a part of the American scene, we believe that the word impossible was just a term that is used to describe the degree of difficulty. So the move is on. The fundraising is afoot. We believe that through teamwork, perseverance, charity, professionalism, dedication, discipline, call to action, capital campaign pledges, and regular donation, to name a few, is essential to our success. We need the support of everyone to meet our goal. Can we count on you? You can start by joining us this Friday, March the 10th, from 6 to 9 at the Parks Casino as we kick off our first event for 2024. Our theme is Building Our Dream with Love. Please come out to see some of the same photos that you are watching today of the work that is being done, the work that is in progress. We believe, the African American Museum, believe that a change is taking place, as you can see in the old Boone Farms building. Some say it is transformation. We believe in the word of a scientist, a biologist, who would say, it is not a transformation, it is a metamorphosis. And if you look at what is taking place, I'm sure you will agree that Boone Farm is going through a metamorphosis. So come, enjoy yourselves on Friday, build our dream with love. Come and meet, mingle, dance, enjoy the music, and bring your checkbooks, bring your credit cards, bring your debit cards. And we also want you to enjoy the music. We want you to to have drinks and food and dance the night away with the theme, Building Our Dream with the African American Museum of Bucks County with Love. On behalf of the African American Museum of Bucks County, we want to thank you again for inviting us to speak to you on behalf of the Black History Month and to tell our story. Thank you again for all your support, and we look to see you on the dance floor on Friday evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bill, for that wonderful presentation. And I'll just close by saying that the partnership with the African American Museum in the County of Bucks has really become something to be proud of. And, you know, Randy Miller is a part of it. It ties right into our D&I efforts. And we're just really excited to have the partnership. And, you know, I'd be remiss if I didn't just give a quick shout out to thank, you know, the film crew, Eric Nagy and his team, you know, Charlotte Reese, Lauren Deal, Jim O'Malley, you know, are always on point when it's time to produce. Just everybody that plays a key part in things. Randy's always by my side anytime, you know, there's a D&I effort that needs to be taken care of. So just thank you once again, and looking forward to, I guess, the ribbon cutting next. So
Thank you. Thank you. If you want to come up and we can take a quick picture, I do want to just clarify for anybody, you can make a donation anytime, but the event is this Friday, so it's February 9th, and you can also go on the website. But we'd love to take a picture with you. Where? Oh, it's at Parks Casino in Lower Bucks in Ben Salem. I'm going to give that to somebody. Kind of right around here. Come closer, Linda. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
I don't know if commissioners have any questions or comments about that, or we can move on to our agenda. Well, we have public comment first, so public comment, lest I forget. Mr. Andy Warren.
Morning, Commissioners. 3 quick points. First, welcome to the District Attorney. You're Southampton, right? I am a wealth of useless information. 3rd District Attorney in a row from the Centennial School District. Although I went to Wood, but you grew up in the right place. Congratulations, welcome. 2, about today's agenda. Item number 2G. That contract, as I see it, the contract has been completed for 8 months. And are we just now getting around to paying it? Is there some reason why? The next couple questions are just something I really haven't seen before. Item 9D is a contract for 2 weeks. 9H is a contract for 1 week. 12B is a contract for 3 weeks. It just seemed odd to me that we're going now into weekly contracts. Must take more putting the things together than it is to get them, if I've read it rightly. And my last agenda question was item 16A. And what's the dollar amount for that contract? I think I know the source. My last minute has to do with, as you, I assume, know, I believe that this is a seat of government, these Wednesday meetings. They are a time for a dialogue between citizen and government. It's not a time for demonstrations and endless beratings by either. So my question is, I can ask an agenda question in 1 minute. And if I have 2 minutes altogether, many times there's a follow-up question that I don't have an opportunity to follow up with. So is there some way that we could have questions for, let's say I take a minute and a half to ask my question, get the answer, and at the end of the meeting, could I then use the rest of my 3 minutes to get a follow-up? It seems to me that makes this session far more meaningful.
Thank you. I will answer 2 questions, and then I'll turn it over to Ms. McKevitt to begin with. First of all, on the question about 2A, or 2G, I guess it was. You were a commissioner before, so I'm sure you're aware that the state doesn't reimburse on our timetable. It reimburses on its own timetable. The other issue is, I think you have my cell phone, and I also think you have my email, so feel free to contact me with questions as follow-up anytime. There was another question about some contracts, week-long things that you went so fast I couldn't catch them.
Yeah, I do know, yeah, I can answer that. Those are all housing and community development extensions. They are all related to the BERA program, which is Bucks Emergency Rental Assistance Program. That program is closing out. And so as it's closing out, the various contracts are being extended. Could be a week, could be a couple months, just until the work is completed, we can get back the things we need to do. So.
And was there one on 16, did you?
16A, the overall is $648,000 is the overall 16A. The reason for the amendment is that this workforce training and supportive services is now being offered to a broader group of Bucks County residents. It's actually open to all residents now. Originally, it was focused on those who are re-entering after leaving corrections. So now it's being open to others. So that's really the amendment. It's not changing the price, it's just changing who's eligible to take part in that program now.
Thank you. Moving on to the consent agenda, is there a motion to approve the minutes from the January 17th, 2024 meeting and items 1 through 16B?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Moving to the regular agenda, number 17, 18, and 19. These all have to do with, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. McKevitt, but these all have to do with the disaster declaration that we had and the IT issue.
Okay. So before you thank you, Commissioner. Before you on regular agenda, items 17 through 19 are a declaration of disaster emergency, which provide the formal approval for the county's efforts that took place to restore and engage expert assistance in response to the January 21st ransomware attack that targeted the Department of Emergency Communications computer-aided dispatch system, which is the CAD. In addition to the declaration of emergency, Resolution 18 is with CRA International, Inc. It's a cyber forensic company. And number 19 is with DLA Piper, LLP, a legal firm with expertise in cybersecurity, both used during this event. For your consideration.
Questions, comments from the board?
I just want to thank, an immense amount of work that went into everything over about 10 days and continues as we speak. Certainly, Ms. Kenny, the Director of Emergency Services, her staff, and she herself were incredibly hardworking. Our IT staff, led by our CIO, John Regula, just did amazing work. Our law department, especially our solicitor, Amy Fitzpatrick, was invaluable, really. She was the one who helped make connections for us to have resources, especially in the legal field and consulting, so we really did a lot of work there, but there's a lot of people, too many to thank, quite frankly. But our COO, Margie McKevitt, I guess probably slept a couple hours over the course of 10 days. But for the most part, she was, everywhere all the time, as she usually is. So thank her for everything. And I'm sure I'm forgetting people. Once I started this, I thought I'm going to forget somebody. I don't know what I'm forgetting. But I'm sure there are others, but thank you.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody. I mean, this was really pretty scary, especially at the very beginning when this happened to us. I mean, you see all the reports that it happening to other people around the world, and you just say to yourself, it's never going to happen here, but it did. And it was very scary. And again, I want to thank everybody that was involved in managing this, helping out. And again, as Bob said, I'm not going to mention any names, but you know who you are. Audrey, Amy, John, I'm looking out there, and everybody involved in helping us. I mean, I don't know if we got it completely corrected yet. Probably not. We still got a little bit of work to do. But the people that did this, we didn't pay them any money. We didn't give them nothing. We didn't negotiate with them at all. We didn't contact them. We had people here in the county and other places like the state police, the FBI, Department of Homeland Security, other people in the state. I mean, they were guiding us and helping us as well. So I want to thank them for all their help as well. But we did not negotiate with these criminals, and that's what they are, criminals. We didn't negotiate, we didn't pay them anything, and we put this back together. We're not totally there, again, but we put this back together ourselves. And I am just so proud of the county and the people who worked on this, very, very proud, and, it's just awful what they're doing, and a lot of this stuff I don't completely understand when it comes to this IT stuff, but we really have some amazing people in the county, so thank all of you.
Yeah, I did remember. So for Office of Communications really did tremendous work and trying to make sure that we were getting our message out and fielding all the press inquiries. Certainly our 911 operators, dispatchers, John Geib and his team did tremendous work. And echoing what Commissioner DiGirolamo said, we had a lot of support. Our own detectives here in Bucks County did great work, and also the Pennsylvania National Guard. We started a relationship with them about 4 years ago to have them come in and start giving us some support and actually try to break into our system. We wanted them, and they really were here very quickly, and they stayed longer than they were supposed to originally, and they were just fantastic. So, thank you.
I will just add that one of the best parts of this for me was seeing everybody work together, but also as I would go home every day, noticing that the public, it was seamless. They didn't know that anything was happening. They knew they were safe, and there were people here that were taking care of them. So your staff isn't here, but I'd like to give them a big, huge round of applause for everything that they did. Having said that, is there a motion to approve items 17, 18, and 19 on the regular agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Personnel actions. Is there a motion to approve the personnel actions for today?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have board appointments. Commissioner Harvey, did you want to review them?
Yes, for Children and Youth Advisory Board, for a 3-year term, a new appointment, Mr. Khalid Ayubov. His term will end March 1st, 2027. For Mental Health Development, Development of Programs Advisory Board, a 3-year term, Mr. Eric Bruno. It's a new appointment. His term will end February 1st, 2027. For Workforce Development, a 3-year term, Mr. Phil D'Amico, new appointment to fulfill the state requirement to have someone from heavy industry, basically. That term will end. He's from Pennsylvania Steel, located in Bensalem. His term will end February 1st, 2027.
And those are all motions.
I'll make a motion for all three of those.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I would make a motion for the Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority that Commissioner Robert Harvey be our new appointment. His term will begin February 9th and ends February 9th, 2029. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll abstain. Thank you.
And a motion to approve other civics. Today, we would ask for $5,000 to be donated to the Bucks County Audubon Society, for $1,500 to the Colin Heriak Foundation, and $2,000 for Families Behind the Badge. Is there a motion?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Our Chief Operating Officer's report, Ms. McCavitt.
Thank you, Commissioner. I really just want to echo my gratitude to the staff for their efforts during the cyber attack, but also to the commissioners for their support as well. They were there, once again, morning and noon and night to support us, so thank you very much. And that concludes my report.
You made it easy. Okay, and our solicitor's report?
Thank you. Two items today. First, I wanted to echo both my admiration and my appreciation for the incredible leadership of Audrey Kennery in Emergency Services and John Regula in IT. Really, really just unparalleled public servants here before you with incredibly dedicated and professional staff who worked really at any hour, were available. I also wanted to thank the District Attorney's Office and the tremendous work of their detectives in partnering with everyone in the county. Both their availability and their expertise in handling this was very much appreciated by everybody here. Also need to report on the Commissioner's standing executive session held yesterday for the purpose of discussing personnel, pending, and prospective litigation with staff and legal counsel present. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. And Commissioner comments. Commissioner DiGirolamo?
Nothing for today other than what I said earlier. Thank you.
Commissioner Harvey?
Sure, thank you. Obviously, we, thanked our staff. There's, I know Ms. Kenny keeps a bingo card of different kinds of things. We've had tornadoes. We've had, all kinds of other things that have happened in the county since over the past couple of years. So we can, check off this one too. Hopefully, we're done checking off boxes, at least for a while. But really, thank you for your leadership again, for John Regula and IT and the whole IT staff. Really tremendous stuff. As was mentioned earlier, February is Black History Month. Having taught and speaking, I know bingo cards are popular in Department of Corrections too, so I guess I'll fulfill a bingo card here, talking about being a history teacher. In terms of being someone who spent 26 years teaching history and almost my entire life being a lover of history, and are very much a big history nerd since I was a little kid. One of the things that I think still many people struggle with in this country is why their question that you still hear, despite the fact that it's been over 50 years, why do we need a Black History Month? And the simple answer is because history is written by very few people. And those few people have, in some cases, a broad scope of what they write about and what they study and what they see, and others have a more narrow scope. And I know, as someone who spent time in the profession, that a lot of people who teach history tend to teach history the way they were taught history. They may broaden a little bit, they may change perspectives, but for a long time, I think that, for many people, the history of our country was written one way and was just taught that way and rewritten that way and taught that way and rewritten that way and taught that way and rewritten that way. And there was not a lot of expansion. And so for many people, they may not have learned anything about anybody who was female or African American or Latino or Asian who did anything worth of note in this country. And it wasn't that long ago that the same thing was done for people who may have been Irish or Italian or Jewish. And there wasn't very much included about what was done because it wasn't seen as important. And what ends up happening is it perpetuates the problem. That if you have a generation that grows up being taught that this small group of Americans are the only ones who matter, and they're the only ones who did anything, They just continue that belief. And their kids might learn the same thing, and their kids might learn the same thing. And so really what we're doing, and I think Mr. Reed said it very well, that what we're doing is not telling a specific kind of American history. We're just telling the stories that haven't been told. And we're doing it, hopefully, before they get lost. Because as people pass, the stories they know, the stories they lived, pass with them, unless they're passed on to someone else. Certainly this country was built by people of all shapes and colors and genders and sizes and abilities and religions, and it continues to be so. And I think all we're doing is really acknowledging the fact that for a long time there were stories that just weren't told, sometimes out of racism, sometimes just out of ignorance. If you're not taught, then you don't necessarily teach your kids because you don't know what you're missing, didn't know what you weren't told. And so that's, I think, a lot of what we do, try and do here. Certainly I tried to do that as a teacher. I know a lot of other teachers do the same thing. And so I think that's, it's valuable to make sure we talk about loving this country, and certainly everybody in this room I know loves this country. I do too. We have to, it means loving all of the country. It means making sure that we're acknowledging all of it, everybody who had a role to play. So I thank our staff as well as the many groups in this county who recognize and celebrate the achievements and contributions of African Americans, particularly obviously the African American Museum Bucks County Board, whose members are here today and who we heard from earlier. But thank you for the opportunity to do a little history lesson. It's been a while, so, and turn back to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well said. So as we ask as we move towards adjournment today we have remembered, we've honored, we've celebrated, we've thanked, and I think those are all acts of love. I would encourage all of Bucks County to do what we do best, to love one another. And is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor? Aye.